It is Book Saturday with Fixitgearware Security, and today's book focuses on the fundamental knowledge every web security expert and developer should know. The book being discussed today also describes common vulnerabilities known to be found on web applications and tips on how to test and spot them when pen testing various web applications. On how to purchase this book, the link will be made available on the store section of our website sometime this week. So we hope you will be on alert when we publish this link, and also as a way of showing support to us for taking our time to review these books, and support us by purchasing through the store section of our website. So without wasting much of your time, let's get started. Today's book is Web Security for Developers by Malcolm McDonald, and this book is a very awesome book. After going through the entire pages of this book myself, I could say that it's very important that every person or individual who is interested in knowing more about web application security, how to pen test for various vulnerabilities, the steps taken by a programmer to write a code, as these steps were properly described in this book. But also, it's not just for programmers. A web penetration tester can also use this clue and apply the concept in the opposite direction to search for information about the source code of an organization they are pen testing. Also, various vulnerabilities that were discussed in this book highlights how to spot them, and the codes that were given as examples also demonstrate some parts of the codes that were vulnerable to this vulnerabilities discussed in the book, which makes the book a very special book because nothing is as beautiful as getting to know things from the roots properly explained to you, and not just being explained to you, you can also understand how this works or how this is applicable in real life. While there are no labs demoed in this book, however, we believe that whatever information that was provided in this book will help you in not just being a good web security expert, but also show you skills on things you should look out for when it comes to pen testing web applications, as these are the same concept that these web security experts apply. So you can also leverage those informations discovered in this book to look for those things where they have not been applied in a web application and exploit them. The first point, understanding the fundamentals in web application security is a necessity, and the Web Security for Developers offers that. It's very important that you know the fundamentals. You cannot test or you cannot implement security on a web application without understanding the basics first. It's a book I'll recommend you if you're passionate about web security and also penetration testing to go and read or get a copy, because that's the only way you can understand how things works, by getting to know what actually exists in a given web application. You cannot understand how a web application works or how you can properly secure them without even understanding the concept right from the foundation on how to set up these web applications, how those codes were written, down to securing them. So Web Security for Developers offers this information, and I can tell you, by the time you're done with this book, you'll be very, very happy that you read about this book. The second point is all web vulnerabilities discussed in these books are outlined in a very structural manner and offers in-depth explanation with code examples pointing the section of the code being explained. This is one beautiful thing about the Web Security for Developers. The topic discussed in the books were properly organized. So it's like a flow. You first of all know what a programmer does, how a programmer writes a code, what are the concepts being implemented, what is the first thing the programmer does, the pre-testing phase, post-testing phase, error handling, and other necessary information you need to know. Then you now learn how these codes are being secured on a public repos such as GitHub or any other cloud instances or buckets that is being used by the organization or the developer of the organization. This book describes everything, and it follows that structure manner that by the time you're done, you'll be able to understand the steps that a web security expert takes in securing a web application. Then you, being a bug bounty hunter or penetration tester, can now apply the concept in an opposite direction. So you say how, for instance, if a web security expert wants to secure their web application from being hacked, they have to secure the IP address of the web application via a CDN. This also has to, protect the IP address of the web application from being known to the public. So when I read about this right now, I can say, okay, fine. If I'm testing for a web application, this is what a web security expert should do. So should I now check if actually this web application is hidden behind a CDN or not? So you see the concept of applying it in the opposite direction. You know that, okay, this is what a web security expert has to do. So let me check if he actually did this or not. So if he didn't do it, then that is some, clue on what I should now further test in the web application. Also, when it comes to vulnerabilities discussed in this book, such as SQL injections, CSRF, so we can now say, okay, to be able to secure a web application from being vulnerable to these various vulnerabilities, the web security expert has to sanitize the inputs and filter the inputs as well, so that when these inputs are injected in the web application, they will not be able to execute. So the opposite concept you have to now apply as a web penetration tester or ethical hacker. You can say, okay, let me check if the web application sanitizes inputs. If it does, okay, let me check if I encode those inputs in another format, if it also sanitizes it, or if a firewall was implemented at the back end to reject certain encoded characters. So this is how you learn. You read something, then you think of the opposite of what the programmer or the web security auditor has not done and how you can bypass those things. So this book offers that. Read about this book. It's very interesting. I cannot emphasize much about this book, and I suggest you get a copy by heading to our website and clicking the Buy Now on Amazon button. It will be displayed on the column where this book is listed. The third point is, in hacking web applications or securing them, understanding the structure of the web is a must for any security expert. Web Security for Developers offers the explanation in such a way that even a newbie will have no difficulty understanding what the book is all about. So this book describes everything, outlines every steps. The description, the information provided in this book is in a structured manner, and I suggest you go get a copy to read more about this book. The next point is understanding the nature of a programmer and how they work or operate is important in securing code base and software codes. This book describes in depth right from writing the codes down to pre-release testing, penetration testing, error logging, and so on. So these are the things you need to know. If you're a web security expert or if you're a penetration tester, you have to look for this information if these steps were actually followed by the software developer or the web application developer. So we know commonly in recent times there have been cases where sensitive informations were discovered in JavaScript running on a website, or had encoded credentials in HTML forms. All those things are the things that web security expert did not implement, and you that is a bug bounty hunter or penetration tester would have to look out for this information and how to exploit them. So get a copy of this book. I cannot emphasize much about the importance of this book if you're really into penetration testing, or if you want to be an expert in web security. You should get a copy of this book to know the things you should be doing and the right orders you should be implementing this, and how to also secure or protect your web or the web application of your clients from modern vulnerabilities or attacks. The best 3 points that makes up the web security for developers unique are: 1. Structure. Every concept and definition in these books were grouped in parts, giving the readers a good reading structure and flow when reading or studying. The second point is that it offers a good explanation of modern-day vulnerabilities such as CSRF, injection attacks, XML, info leak, which is also information leakage, and so on, with good examples. So these various vulnerabilities were not just explained, but examples were given on how they are being carried out or conducted. The last point that makes the web security for developers a unique book is that the code examples used in the explanation of the various vulnerabilities were kept simple, because as we know, nothing beats simplicity, and the only way you can make people understand information being explained to them is by making it simple, that even a novice or a newbie will be able to understand the terminologies or the concept of what you're trying to explain. Web security for developers achieve this. I would give them a 10 over 10 if I have to rate them in terms of the simplicity of the examples that were given in this book. So the last point is understanding the fundamentals in web security cannot be overemphasized, and web security for developers offers that, which makes the book to deserve a rating of 4.7 over 5.0. This is based on the ratings of labs and description. So since the book doesn't feature a lab, we wouldn't want to give it a rating that is, beyond the scope of the book, as our focus is to be transparent, to give you this information for you to know, and not to deceive you, because in as much as we're interested in making sales, promoting the author of this book's content, we're also much more interested in you having the right information. So that's it for the web security for developers, and we hope that you would not forget to go through our store, which will be opening our website sometime this week, for you to purchase this book as a way of showing support to us. We take our time to read about these books before telling you about them, which is a rare thing that, probably might not be found. And the way we describe our book review series is a very unique way. So please do not forget to head to our store when we open our website to purchase through us. In such manner, we'll be able to earn a little commission and keep the business running, because the major purpose is to keep the business running, to be there for you and keep whatever information we are supplying to you up and doing. So that is it for this week's episode. Do not forget to give us a like by clicking the thumbs up button, subscribe by tapping the subscribe button, and turn on notification bell to be the first to get notified when we post another episode on Book Review Saturday with Fixitgearware Security. Thanks for watching and have an amazing weekend. Bye for now.